there, fam. This is Tanya Barnett with Let's Chat with Tanya Barnett. I'm so super excited about my guest tonight. She is all over the place. So if you follow her on any social media, she just got back from India. She is mom on the move, mompreneur. This is Miss Cheryl Wood. I am so thankful. Thank you, Cheryl, for joining me tonight.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So can you tell us a little bit about your latest venture? Because I was impressed because you took your kids with you, your husband with you. So what was that? How did that whole thing work out? I mean, that was just amazing.
Yeah, India was such a powerful and dynamic experience for me as a person, as an individual, as a woman. Mm-hmm. And I went there because I was invited to speak at a conference. Mm-hmm. And my thought as a mompreneur and a wifepreneur, I'm both, is I want to include my family on anything that I can. Any of this journey, any parts of this journey that I can include them, I want to include them. And India is just not somewhere I wanted to go. And I'm like, oh, I can't take my family. So we made the necessary preparations and was able to take them with me so that they could also experience this. Mm-hmm. And I like for my kids, especially, to see what mommy does. Like, this is what mommy goes out and she pours into the lives of other people, especially other women, not just locally, but globally, all across mm-hmm. the world. And I need them to understand what I'm doing when I'm away. Like, it's not just, oh, mommy's having fun. It's mommy's doing her God-given assignment. And right. So I want to be in that space to kind of soak that all in so mm-hmm. that they have a greater connection to when I am away, they know exactly what I'm doing.
Awesome. Awesome. And so how did your kids like the experience?
They loved it. Okay. They loved it, but they could not wait to get back to the United States so they could get some pizza and burgers. Because in India, the cow is holy. It's a holy animal. So they don't eat the cow.
That.
Cows roam the streets freely, and they're in the middle of traffic, and you have to stop. Like, the cow doesn't stop for you. You have to stop for it. So they don't eat beef, they don't eat steak, there's no hamburgers, none of that stuff. So my kids love the experience, but they were ready to get back to the U.S. for a burger.
So you guys went to McDonald's and there were no burgers at the McDonald's?
That's right. So they sell chicken nuggets because they eat chicken there. They eat lamb. There were chicken nuggets and they have burgers, but they're veggie burgers. Wow. My kids weren't having that. And it's funny because they even have a Burger King, but there's no burgers. There's just veggie burgers or chicken patties. Chicken patty sandwiches.
Wow. Now, that is an awesome experience for your children to experience, especially as African-American children. With me working in a middle school here in Maryland, what I notice is a lot of kids, when you ask them, what country have you been out the country? And they'll say, wherever, like Bladensburg or something like that, and I'm just right. Like, no, another country, like outside the United States, and there's so many African-American kids that haven't even been out their county, haven't been to DC.
Yes, that is so true. And that's what I told my kids, because when we were thinking about the trip, we were like, wow, that's going to be a lot of time out of school. They were out of school for about a week and a half. Mm-hmm. And my thought was, this is a priceless experience that a lot of their classmates and people there will never experience. And I'm big on experiences. I'm big on you getting out of, as most people know, getting out of your comfort zone and doing something you've never done before and experiencing something you've never experienced before. Because for me, how do you open your mind up to what's really possible if you don't see it?
Right.
Like, there has to be some visual of what I could do. Mm-hmm. And so for me, even as a mompreneur, I knew that there was a possibility of me walking away from my corporate job and pursuing speaking full time because I've seen models of it. I've mm-hmm. seen it done. So whether it's something like that or something in terms of geographically what I could do and where I could go in the world, mm-hmm. I think we open our minds up to a broader mm-hmm. scope when we see it, when we see what we can do. So I want my kids not to just think locally. I want them to think on a global basis that, mm-hmm. You get out into the world and really leave your unique fingerprint. So let me show you a little bit of what that looks like and feels like. Yeah, it's going to be different. Yeah, it's not going to be what you're used to, mm-hmm. but this is the impact that you can have when you find what you love to do, which I'm hoping every one of my children will do. And out in the world, you spread whatever that thing is that you love to do.
Right. Wow. I remember when we lived in Germany, My daughter had an opportunity to go to Austria and some other countries through her Girl Scout troop. She was the only African American. My husband was in the military. But, you know, I was like, ski trip, you're going, you know, and it's half the time she was like, I don't want to go. At the time, she was like middle school age. And I said, oh, you're going, because how many kids can say I skied in Austria?
Right.
Exactly. Can say that.
Exactly. And we even when we went to India, we had a stopover in Switzerland and we had a stopover in Germany.
Oh, awesome.
That's 2 additional places that they can say, hey. And we made sure that when we were in Germany, we had what's the bratwurst? We made sure we had bratwurst. We made sure we kind of immersed ourselves in the culture of each of those places that we visited. So again, awesome. That's just something that sticks with them, where they don't just think on just a local level, but on a global level as they start to move through the world and figure out who they are and what they want to do.
Right. Wow. That is awesome, Cheryl. I appreciate you doing that, and even setting an example for those of us who travel with our businesses. That's something that I try to negotiate when I do different events. I say, you know, is there a +1? And if there is, I take my 16-year-old daughter with me, and then she's able to experience fashion shows. I'm taking her to a business meeting on Sunday, a conference, because I got a +1. And I'm like, you know, this is a good place for you to come hear women talking about using social media in a business and things of that nature, you know, because I want my kids, just like you, to think outside the box. I don't want them to start off, get out of college and work a 9 to 5. I mean, I just don't want them to do that. And
I agree. And then for us as parents, you know better, you do better. Mm-hmm. And I think we're always looking to improve upon whatever our parents were able to provide for us or instill in us. So I impress upon my children that I didn't get these opportunities, not because my mom didn't love me, but she didn't have the financial resources to provide these type of opportunities. And to go somewhere international, I'm 43. This is my first time. My kids are 9, 10, and 13. Like, really? So I need them to understand, number one, that it's a privilege and a blessing. But then I need them to also take that and do something with it. So a lot of the things that I'm experiencing for the first time at 43, they're experiencing now, and you're not even 10. So it's a dual conversation. You know, it's a conversation about, we're leaving the country and we're going somewhere and we're having fun. But the other side of that is now also know that this is a blessing, and also know that I expect you to do something with all these blessings that you're getting.
Right. Wow. So let me ask you this. What is one, hey, Charlotte, hey, Candace, ladies. If you're just now joining, I have the fabulous Cheryl Wood on here tonight. She's talking about we were just talking about her trip to India, where she took her entire family. That is she wins MOMpreneur of the Year. Okay. And also, if you're just now joining us live, make sure you share this on Facebook. I'm sure there's a mom who can listen, who would be inspired by what she has to share. And also, if you're catching this on replay or on YouTube, make sure you share. I always say sharing is caring. So share this out with your friends and family. So what is one obstacle that you had to overcome transitioning from 9 to 5 to being Cheryl Wood that everybody sees? Tell us what that was about. How did that work for you?
There were so many obstacles, but if I were to pick my biggest obstacle, I would say me. I was my biggest obstacle. And that was because I didn't value my worth. I played in a space of focusing more on what I didn't have for such a long time that I didn't give myself permission to focus on what I did have. So all I could think about in my mind was, you grew up in the hood, you grew up in poverty, you don't know what it feels like to travel the world. You don't know what it feels like to have a bunch of money in the bank. So it was all these things that I felt were against me. You grew up as in the product of a single parent household. Your dad is alcoholic. You don't have a college degree. How are you going to be anybody? That was playing, like that CD was playing in my mind over and over and over again when I started on a journey. And I just kept questioning, am I good enough? Who in the world is going to listen to me? What do I really have to offer of value? So I was my own obstacle. I had to really get out of my way. So not only did I struggle with who's going to listen to me, but then who's going to pay me? Really? So I got all this negative self-chatter and self-limitations in my own mindset about, am I good enough? Who's going to believe me? Who's going to believe that I have anything of value to add with no college degree, blah, 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 blah. And then on top of that, and who's going to pay me to teach them something? That's how I felt. I stayed stuck in that place for years.
Wow.
And my husband was saying to me, Cheryl, you're amazing. Cheryl, you're this. And there were other people who came into my circle. And I always say this, who saw more greatness in me than I saw in myself. So you gotta be around the right circle.
That's
because
good.
especially those startup years, it's gonna be some people that's gonna be in your ear that are gonna help push you forward, because they're gonna be like, man, you have the it factor. And you like, it? What you see that I don't see, And I was in that space for a while. But I had God sent some great folks my way who kept reminding me that they saw greatness in me. And so I couldn't see it yet, but they could. And so I had to kind of stand on their shoulders until I could be a big girl and figure out my self-worth and stand on my.
Wow, that is so real. I know I struggle with that, my personal self, just being bald and living with hair loss. And so I was just like, okay, would people take me seriously? Here I am, this bald woman trying to tell you about self-esteem, self-worth. But it's like I had to live through that to get myself to a place where I'm doing this. I mean, I even struggle with, okay, our mom's going to say yes. But I was just like, I know this is a value. This will help people. And so I just had to go for the ask. And thankfully, every single mom that I asked said yes. Not one person said no. Everybody saw the value. And even the speakers like you, they came back and said, oh my gosh, I was watching so-and-so's, and I learned, and people are learning from the other speakers. So fantastic. Just really that journey of trying to believe in yourself and not doubting, because that's something that I've struggled with for a long time. And every now and again, when I go somewhere with being bald, I'm kind of self-conscious about that. Like, okay, are people going to take me seriously? Are they going to think I have cancer? Are they going to, all these things start playing in my mind. And so I kind of shrink back. And then, like you said, you got to have one or two people who are like, no, T, you need to be here. This is your time. It's your season. God has called you for that. And so I'm ready.
And that's when you get to that place where you start to realize that if God placed you there, you belong there. That's where you belong, and not to question it, and not to worry about whether other people think you belong there or not, because it's really not any of their business whether you belong. If God placed you there, you belong there, and there's something of value that you're going to bring to that space. And through the process of walking through the fear of it, you will figure out what that value is.
Right. So how do you find time for your babies in the midst of all your traveling when they don't go with you?
Well, you know what? I'm just, okay. So I have to say, by nature, I'm kind of like a multitasker. If things are a little bit chaotic, I don't get as much done. It's so weird. Like, I'm just wired that way. Like, I think I'm partially wired that way, and partially from my 15 years of experience in the corporate world. Like, things always were very fast paced and hectic, and I always had to juggle multiple things and wear multiple hats. And I function very well in that. So for me, I've learned how to push myself a little bit extra to make sure that my kids get from me what they need from me. So if I go, let me give you an example. If I go and I could do a speaking engagement, and maybe it took me away for the weekend, and maybe I was gone, I left Friday, and I was there and spoke on Saturday and came back home Sunday morning. Like, as soon as I come home, I don't take a nap. I come home, I change my clothes, I take my kids out. So I believe that as hard as I push myself for my business, that my kids deserve for me to push myself as hard for them. And that's my balancing act. And in between that, somewhere I'll get a couple hours of sleep. But it's really important for me, for them to know that they are as important as my business. They are as important to me as every client that I serve. They're as important to me as every traveling engagement that I do. I need them to know that. And the way that I prove that to them is by pushing myself just a little bit extra, and making sure that I give them that quality time that they deserve, just like I do to my clients.
Right. So then that's now going to lead to my next question, finding time for the honey. Do you guys, I know I've heard several different strategies that mompreneurs have. How do you find time for your husband?
Again, it's very comparable to my kids. It's about being intentional.
Okay.
And I'll share this because I just feel like it needs to be shared. So there was a period I went through, and there was frustration because I was traveling a lot, and I found myself in this space where I would come home from a speaking engagement. And again, it might be in another city or another state. So it would be gone on weekend and come home. And I would be like, oh, I'm so tired. And my husband would want to be intimate. And I'm like, look, I'm tired. You know? And that wasn't working too well. Right. That just wasn't going over too well at all. And I really had to have kind of a come to Jesus conversation with myself and a check. You know, sometimes you got to check yourself. I had to check myself and say, wait, no matter how tired I am, if someone called me right now and offered me a speaking opportunity, or if someone called me right now and said they wanted to be my client and could I come coach them right now, and they were paying me a check, I would jump at the opportunity. I would be gone. There would be no question about how tired I am. Right. So why am I not exerting that same energy into nurturing my marriage? That's the real conversation I had to have with myself. And with that, it was like this awakening. And I was like, Cheryl, you know what? You got to be on your game, because what I don't want is to get to the top and I'm single.
Right.
Or divorced. Right. So I want my husband with me. I want my kids with me as I rise to the top. And as God continues to expand my territory and elevate me, I want to make sure that family is in place, is intact. And if that means I got to, push myself a little bit harder because the hubby wants some time, then that's what I need to do. So it was just a reckoning within myself that sometimes you gotta sacrifice. That's what this whole game is about. The whole being a mompreneur. It's about sacrificing more than most people would, so that you can experience the things that other people just dream about and think about. Right. And so the same applies to my marriage as it does in my business.
Wow. Yeah, like going to India with your whole entire family. People will dream that and never obtain that. So that was powerful. That was so powerful.
To all the wives, when your man wants some, you better give him some.
We're going to let that sit right there.
Sorry, you better stop playing, talking about you tired. Guess what? You better be tired later. Go on, do that thing, and then keep it moving, because you want the household to be happy. And it's happier when you're doing what you need to do to nurture your marriage. Right. We gotta check ourselves. So yeah, that's my 2 cents. Give him some.
But it's true. And then he's more inclined to help you. I mean, for me, it works that way. My husband's like, babe, what you need me to do? You want some books in the car?
That's it. Nobody don't be want to walk around the house. He mad, you mad. Everybody grouchy and angry. No, give him some.
You heard it from none other than Cheryl Wood. But you're going to free some people up tonight. I mean, seriously, we have to make our husbands a priority, because we said I do, and they said I do to supporting us in our business ventures. And I think sometimes we forget that. We forget that their support, they're just asking for 10 minutes maybe of our time, and then they're good. They'll go watch the game or whatever, But, they're going out the kids. My husband's grocery shopping. He's out right now. My son needs shorts because it's 90-something degrees. So he's at the store, took him to get a haircut. Then he's going to come home and finish up dinner. And so, all that support, Charlotte said, give them some. All that support that they give. And they're just asking for a small piece of us. It's such a, when you really think about, go ahead.
We have to know as women how a man functions, and you got to especially know how your man functions. And, there are certain things that we enjoy and we appreciate, and that lets us know that we're appreciated. And there's certain things that let them know, that keep them on point, in line with what's going on. Mm-hmm. So you got to know, and you have to know when things are kind of coming off balance. You're like, let me get this thing back in balance here real quick. Because you need that household to be running smoothly so that you can get out into the world and fulfill your divine assignment, whatever that thing is that you've been called to do. And you don't want to have tension at home and frustration, and you're trying to go and serve the world, but you're thinking about all this negativity that's happening because you're not doing your part. You're in the wifely realm, not even outside of the business realm, but in the wifely realm. Wow. Things can be on point. And like you said, they support us. I mean, my husband, he's holding it down when I'm gone. I'm leaving for London tomorrow, and he's going to be holding it down here with the kids, dropping them off at school, picking them up. And I value that, and I need that support. I don't want to pretend that I don't need it. I need it. That means I have to make sure that I am nurturing his needs and his wants as well.
That is good. Thank you so much for being transparent. That is just freeing. So ladies, please take this to heart. I know we're laughing, but it is so true, and it is necessary. I mean, it's part of communication. I always say intimacy is a part of communication, and it makes them feel connected to us. So do your due diligence. Yeah. So what type of advice would you give to a mompreneur who, has all this going on and she's just like, you know what, Cheryl, I just don't know if I could do this anymore. I'm burnt out. I'm tired. I'm not giving my husband any. He's mad. What advice would you give to a mom that's in that state right now?
Just really take an assessment. Like, stop and look at what's on your plate. What needs to stay there and what needs to come off of the plate? Because sometimes we get in this habit of saying yes, yes, yes to everything, realizing we don't have to say yes to everything. And so it might be something in your household, or it might be something in the business that you need to eliminate off your plate. So for example, I'm famous for not being a good delegator, in my business. And I had to really pull back. Why am I doing these? Why am I doing these things? Why am I doing the administrative tasks? I can hire somebody to do that. I can pay somebody so that it gives me space and something to knock off my plate so that I'm more available to do the higher level activities, the revenue generating activities in my business. So something as simple as that can relieve and alleviate some of the stress, some of the strain, and some of the time that you're dedicating. If it's with the kids, maybe you're trying to do it all. Maybe you're trying to wear the big S on your chest as Superwoman, meaning you feel like you got to cook every night. I'm not cooking every night. Sorry. You can call it what you want to call it. If I'm tired, we eating out. As long as my kids are fed, right? And it's those things, because we try to do everything. Oh, now I have to go. Because we feel like we're going to get some kind of medal. You ain't getting no medal for being tired. You're not getting a medal for trying to do everything. You might stroke yourself on the back, but now you're exhausted when you should have asked for help, or you should have outsourced something. Can you hire somebody to clean your house instead of you cleaning it, so that gives you a couple of hours, 2 or 3 hours to go and spend with your husband? Can you order in tonight so that say you grocery shopping and another hour cooking, where you can actually sit and read a book to your kids, or you can get a nap, for God's sake. So find the things that you can eliminate off your plate that don't disrupt everything. Me ordering out, me ordering food in, that doesn't disrupt things. That just means, okay, it's something different. Mommy's not cooking tonight. Or me hiring somebody to clean my house instead of me spending 2 or 3 hours to clean it. It doesn't interrupt anything. Me hiring someone who can do my administrative tasks and make my phone calls and respond to my emails, that just adds value to me because it gives me some of my time back. And in almost everything in your business and in life, you're either going to pay for it in time, or you're going to pay for it in money. So you have to decide, which one are you going to do? Am I going to pay for this in time, or am I going to pay for it in money, meaning I'm outsourcing it to someone else who can handle it so that I can gain some of my time back?
Wow. That is so key. And I just started outsourcing the cleaning because I grew up in a house where you cleaned every Saturday morning. You up at 6 o'clock with that toothbrush doing baseboards, and I was burning myself out to the point where I like cry because I'm like, I can't clean my house. I just could not get to it. But then I felt guilty. Poor Angelina, she was here a couple of months ago. She was here 9 hours cleaning my house, but it was spectacular. And so, my husband was like, you seem really happy, because that was my second time getting it done in a short period of time. Because I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it once a year and then I'm a spot. I was like, no, I can't even keep up with once a year. I need it more frequently. And so I'm glad that I did that. And then I'm able to function too, because my house is cleaner. She's getting the spots that I see, but I just don't have the time to get to, and so I think it's really important. And then also I think about incorporating our kids in some of the responsibilities. Like my 16-year-old, she put the chicken in the oven. She's going to make some rice, giving them age appropriate activities. I know when my kids were a little younger, it was okay. You guys can get the clothes out the dryer. Put them on the bed, take your clothes out, leave mommy and daddy's. And so
my 9-year-old and my 10-year-old wash clothes. Get your stuff, get your dirty clothes, and go put them in the wash machine. Let me show you how to do this. I showed them twice. Now it's on you, because it shouldn't fall all on our shoulders. And again, as women, sometimes we like to wear that, that badge of honor. Oh, yes, I do it all. And you're exhausted and you're drained and you're stressed out and you're burned out. It's like, stop doing that to yourself. Just, like you said, outsource some things, give some things to the kids. If they can do things, let them help. Hey, let's prep. Do as much prep work as you can. So for me, travel as a speaker, I know that I'm going to be gone from tomorrow. So I'm going to be in London. I leave tomorrow, and then I don't come back until Tuesday. So I'm prepping tonight to make sure everything is taken care of, making sure that their uniforms are ready, making sure that all their snacks are packed for the next several days, Friday, Monday, and Tuesday, so that those things are in place and I'm not away stressing. Oh my God, I hope everything, I don't want to live a frazzled life. I want to live a calm life. I want to live a life that's just, that's peaceful and that flows. And like you said, everybody has their part that they do, and whatever I can outsource, I outsource.
Absolutely, absolutely. Deborah said, yes, teach the babies. and have some, take ownership too in what goes on in the house. I had to break it down to my son. Why am I the only one who has to take out the trash? And I said, well, if Daddy and I don't go to the grocery store and we don't cook, you don't eat, if you don't take out the trash, we don't have bugs. And so I had to break it down to show that every joint supplies. So you have to do your part. It's not just, this isn't a hotel.
Hello. That's it.
Right. Wow. So thank you for that. So what is next for Cheryl Wood? What do you have coming up? I know you have a conference that you do in November. What else do you have coming up between now and your conference in November?
Yeah. So again, for those who are just joining, I'm going to be headed to London tomorrow. I'm so pumped. I've never been. It's an amazing opportunity to pour into some lives over in another country. I'm super excited. So I'm going there to speak for a conference. And then, I have some conferences I'm speaking at throughout the several months here in the United States. And then, of course, I'm prepping for, as you mentioned, for my big conference, which is the Playtime is Over Women's Business Conference. And that's taking place November 2nd through 4th in Arlington, Virginia. We have some amazing folks who have linked arms with us to be a part of the conference. We have WSSC, who's come on board as one of our sponsors. They were one of our premier sponsors last year. They've come back this year again. We have some great speakers. Darren Henson, you might know him from Soul Food, excuse me, and some other amazing media work. He used to be a choreographer, and he has just kind of transitioned into this amazing entrepreneur and author and speaker. And I got to connect with him at a conference I spoke at in Delaware, and he was phenomenal. I was like, oh, we gotta connect. Like, he was getting some real good knowledge. And so he's going to come in and pour into the ladies. I just announced today that a young lady named Eva Jane Bunkley, who is the founder of, it's called the Makeup Bullet. And it's literally a little thing, looks like a bullet but it's a sponge that you put on your finger, and you do your full face of makeup with the sponge. And she is the inventor of that. Yeah. And she's an award-winning makeup artist. She's done faces from Jamie Foxx to President Jimmy Carter to everybody, like anybody you can think of, she's done their makeup. And so then now she created this amazing invention. And so she's traveling all over the world, branding this invention and getting so much feedback about this amazing invention. So other great folks. But if you go to PTIOconference.com, you'll learn more about the conference. And we'd love to have people there. We usually get about 250 to 300 women who come every year from all across the country. Last year, we had women who came from London, women who came from Canada. And so we're just continuing to grow and expand and really touch as many women's lives as possible, with the idea that you can be innovative and you can be creative and you can get out into the world and create the thing that is going to allow you to leave your legacy. And the thing that's going to allow you to leave your unique fingerprint that will long outlive your physical body. Because all of us, we checking out of here at some point. So the question is, what's the legacy that you're creating now that people will talk about long after your physical body is gone? And I just think that's so important. So I'm a huge proponent of entrepreneurship, because I believe that it equips women to do several things: to create their legacy, to help transform other people's lives with their story and their truth, and also to create economic empowerment. So as many women as I can touch, as many lives as I can touch with that, the concept of pursuing entrepreneurship. Even if you have a job you love, like, you can love your job, you ain't gotta quit your job. But I still think that every woman should have something that's her, something that will carry on her name and her legacy. So as much as you love your job, that when you're gone, that job is not going to repeat your name, because they're going to fill your seat. Right. You're just filling a seat. So it's going to be the company's name that lives on. So what have you created for you that will live on? And I'm just a huge proponent of that. So that's why I do the conference every year.
Wow. And when you were talking about legacy, the first thing that popped in my head was the Proverbs 31 woman, how she was crafty. She was doing all, she was making dresses, she was
Right.
bargaining. She had fields, she had servants, she had people working for her. And so that's what popped in my head when you said legacy. But I've never heard anybody say that they believe that every woman should have something to leave behind. That is just, wow.
Let
That's
me
happening.
give a quick example, if I can, about why it's so important. So, there's a young lady who lived here in Maryland, and we actually started our businesses right around the same time. In fact, we used to go to local events, and you know how you buy a table and you sell your product at the table from the table.
Mm-hmm.
So we would both do that. So I had at the time I was still selling t-shirts. I hadn't even discovered speaking yet. So we're talking, 8 years ago. So I'm at these events, and I would always see her at these events. So we became friends kind of based on that. And then she got a hold of my books, and then I started speaking and God started elevating me, and she kind of became my mentee. And she had this product that she sells, which is shea butter and perfumes. And so so literally I watched this woman grind and hustle and start making her mark in the world. And eventually she left her, as we call it, good government job. She left her good government job of 17 years, and she poured herself into her business, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she's starting to go all over the place and share her products. And about, I guess it's probably been 2 or 3 years now, maybe it's been 2 years, she passed away.
Wow.
She was 44. She was 44. I'm 1 year away from 44. She was 44, young, vibrant, energetic, family, doing the thing, left her job, doing her business, just doing it. And gone. But here is the beauty. The beauty of it is that she did not leave this earth without creating a legacy. So she immersed herself into that business so much. And the name of the business is the Perfume Chick. And that's what everybody called her, the Perfume Chick, because she made perfumes and shea butters. Do you know that when she passed away, she had created such a legacy and such an example that now her husband and her 2 twin daughters still run the shop?
Wow.
That's legacy. That's legacy. And this is her husband and she has 2 sets of twins, her husband and her 2 older twins, but then she also has 2 twin daughters who were 13 when she passed away.
Mm-hmm.
Now that legacy, that creates economic empowerment for their family.
Right.
And it's something that they can pass down to the younger children who are coming up through the family. That's what I'm talking about when I say real economic empowerment that benefits generation for generation to come. That's what I mean when I say real legacy that continues to help and transform the lives in your own household. But even outside of that, I still go to the shop and I buy my shea butters. I love it. I feel like it's part of me continuing to help her legacy live on. And people stop me in the airport like, oh my God, what are you wearing? And I get to talk about her, and I get to talk about her business. And like, that's what I mean. Not something where you just go and you build somebody else's dream. I mean, are you building your own? Are you creating your own legacy? What are you going to leave behind? Because none of us are promised tomorrow. We all hope we're going to live to 90, 100. But I'm talking about legacy that will live beyond just your physical body.
That is just, wow. That is heavy. Now I feel challenged to do better and do more. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right? Like it's serious. Like it's that important. Are you treating your gift as though you might not get an opportunity to use it tomorrow? Right? Like we're sometimes so willy-nilly with our gift. How do you know you're going to get to use it tomorrow? How do you know? How do you know that you're going to get to leave that fingerprint? And so we get into this space of saying, I'm about to, as soon as, once things get better. Look, do it now. Do it while you're scared. Do it while you broke. Do it while whatever. Just do it, because you are not promised that you will have tomorrow to be able to implement and use your gift to serve the world in a greater way. So that's how I view it. So people are like, why are you always so happy and smiling? And girl, I'm happy that I get to use my gift. I'm happy that I just get to talk to somebody. I don't care if it's one person in the room. I don't care if it's 10 people in the room. It doesn't matter to me. It's like if I'm using my gift, there is a fulfillment, an internal fulfillment in my spirit that leaps with joy. That says, thank you, God. Thank you that I'm not just existing anymore. I'm truly living. Thank you, God, that I'm creating a legacy that my kids get to experience, because I believe it starts in your household. So it's your household, then your zip code, then global. Your household first, that you got to impact those people first in your own household. My 3 kids are looking to me as a model. Then I take it into my zip code, my city, my state, my region, and I become kind of what they call a superstar in your own backyard, and you impact lives in your own backyard. Then you take that thing global, and that is what God is doing now. So he's seeing that I have been a good steward and a faithful steward over what's small. I've been a faithful steward over making sure that my own household is impacted by my gift and my own zip code. And now he's elevating me to go global, go to India, go to London. So it has to be in that order. And I believe if you keep it in that order, that's when you get the tenfold blessings. That you don't take it out of order.
We're about to do a collection plate. Wow, that is just profound. Wow.
Right? It just makes you think, right?
Yeah.
So you don't have time to whine. Like, for everybody who's watching, you ain't got time to whine about it. You ain't got time to be, sucking your teeth about what's happening for somebody else, but it ain't happening for you. What the heck are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Like, we just, and then even women, sometimes women, trying to work together, but they really, they saying they want to work together, but behind your back, they doing sneaky stuff and they trying to squash you so they can get ahead. Like, we got to stop that nonsense. You don't have time for that. And that's what I always say. If you're really working on your dream, if you're really working on impacting the world, you don't have time for gossip. You don't have time to stab nobody else in the back. You don't have time to downplay anybody else's anything. And you definitely don't have time for comparing yourself. I say no comparing, no competing, and no coveting. Those 3 things have got to be X off of every woman's list. Don't compare, compete, or covet what you're doing to anybody else. Stay focused on what your gift and your assignment is, and do that thing to the best of your ability. And stop focusing on quantity. Stop focusing on quantity and focus on the quality of how you show up with your gift in the world. Stop worrying about if 1 person or 10 people or 100 people were there. Stop worrying about if it's 1 person in the room. Or guess what? Whoever shows up is the person that you were meant to serve in that moment with your gift. But do you diminish your level of service because it's not as many as you think it should be? That goes right back to what we talked about. Are you being a faithful steward over what's small, over the little, so that God can say, yes, now I believe you really want it? Because even when 1 person was there, you know what? You showed up in greatness. Even when only 2 people were in the room, you showed up and you gave them your all. You were quality. You wasn't about quantity. You was about quality. So now I believe you. Let me open up the floodgates and let me expand your territory. Let me send you to India. Let me send you to London. Let me send you to Canada. Let me send you here, there, and everywhere, because now I believe you really want it. And I believe you want it for the right reasons. You don't want it for the applause that you're getting. Because if that was the case, you wouldn't have showed up in quality when there was 1 person in the room. No, you showed up because you believe that this was your assignment. You believe this was your gift to the world. You believe that this was the way that you were going to leave your fingerprint on the world. And you showed up over and over and over again to make sure that that fingerprint and that imprint that you had to leave was felt in such a way that people who experience your gift were never the same. Can you say that every day that you wake up? Every day that you wake up, you should be touching somebody with your gift. Just 1. Give me 1 person. You're doing this. Look at you on Facebook Live. You're on Facebook Live touching lives. And whether people are here now, whether they show up later, whether they watch it, you don't know who's going to need it in just that moment. So you just owe it to yourself. And I don't want to go on and on because I believe in this stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I really believe it with everything in my heart that we've got to stop being so preoccupied with some of the nonsense. Trying to keep up with other people on Facebook or trying to keep up with what somebody else is doing. No, keep up with you. Keep up with you and what you've been assigned to do,
right.
And make sure you're amazing at it every time. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing.
Wow, you are helping me, Cheryl, because I really was questioning whether I was making an impact through Facebook Live. Yes, women were texting me or instant messaging me and just saying this really touched. But I was like, okay, is Facebook Live the platform? Shouldn't I be like on Good Morning America doing this? All those things. we're going through my mind, like, am I really making an impact? Am I really touching women? Am I helping? Because that's the whole goal. I mean, I'm not making any money doing this. It's just God placed it on my heart to feature women like you who can empower other women, because I know what it's like to be unempowered. I know what it's like to be overweight and watching other people do, and you're like, oh my gosh, I have these gifts, but I don't know where to start, and I don't know who to connect with or anything, and so that's why I started this, to help other women.
And I love it. And you're being a beacon of inspiration to someone by doing this. You're giving someone else the courage to come behind you and do it. So for the most part, everything that I do is, and it's so funny, there's nothing new under the sun. Ain't none of us doing nothing new. We just putting our little spin on it. So first of all, we got to stop doing that. Oh, ain't nobody taking nothing. Ain't nothing new under the sun. Everything that I do, for the most part, I do it because someone else, some other woman has inspired me to do it. I see her do it, and there's something in my spirit that leaps and says, you can do this. So Doreen Rainey is a great example. Doreen and I, she was probably 3 or 4 years ahead of me. She had been doing it for longer than me. But we used to go to her conference, and she would have it here in the local DMV area. And I went for several years. And then that final year that she had it, and I actually spoke, I said to myself, I want to do this. I'm going to have my own conference. And that was in March. And I had my first conference in November of that year, and ended up having 125 women who came from across the country to come to that conference. But it was because she had created this model for me. Now, I didn't want to duplicate everything she did and do. No, I wanted to do it Cheryl's way. But she gave me the visual for knowing that it was possible. And so that's what you're doing now, just by doing this. So everybody can't be on Good Morning America.
Right.
Like, some of us, we got to start right here on Facebook Live.
Right.
Like, I didn't start in India. I didn't start in London. I didn't start in Canada and Bahamas. Like, I started literally, a lot of people they never get to hear me say this. I used to go to people's houses and I would speak at their book club.
Wow.
So there would be 4 people in the room, including me.
Right.
4 people. And I would go, but I would treat every opportunity as though it was worthy of my time, as though it was worthy of my talent, worthy of me pouring out all of me. I didn't treat any opportunity as though it was beneath me. No, I played where God said play in that moment, in that season, knowing that he would then create other seasons, greater seasons. But first I had to be able to be responsible for the small seasons. And in the small seasons, sometimes you can have a lot of impact in those small spaces and small seasons. So even when I was in somebody's house, speaking at a book club meeting with 4 people, I gave it 150%. I gave it all of me. So the question that everyone has to ask themselves is, am I being a faithful steward? Am I being a good steward over what I have right now? Because we can spend all day talking about where we should be. Right. Yeah, all of us should be on right? All of us should be on Today. All of us should be on The Real. But the reality is, all of us aren't going to get there right now, or all of us aren't going to. Some of us may never experience that, but God will bless us in his own way. He will expand our territory in his own way. So you don't know where this Facebook Live is going to take you, sis. So you just keep doing. You keep showing up. People ask me all the time, how did you get to here, Cheryl? I used to be a secretary, for God's sake. I used to go to a cubicle every day. I did that for 15 years. Right. How did I end up here? Traveling the world. How did this happen? Because I just kept showing up. Nobody, you are not going to work. You ain't going to work harder than me. Because I didn't have, at the time, I didn't have the money to invest in coaches. I didn't have 20, 30, 40, 50 grand to spend on a coach. So what did I do? I said, work my butt off, and I'm going to show up more than most people, and I'm going to work harder than most people, and I'm going to deliver more quality service than most people, and I'm going to keep talking about it. So I'm going to show up, I'm going to speak up, I'm going to follow up. I'm just going to keep doing that. I'm going to keep repeating that cycle right there. Show up, speak up, follow up. So I show up at more events, and then I speak up and say, hey, I'm Cheryl Wood. I'm an international speaker. Hadn't even left Baltimore and was saying I was Cheryl Wood, international speaker. Okay? Wasn't even out of Baltimore yet. And I showed up and I started speaking up and telling people who I was and what I was going to do in the world, because I had so much conviction about it. I could see it in my mind's eye before it ever happened. And then follow up. So after you meet the people, you got to follow up. Like people, you go to events and you collect business cards and do nothing with it. You don't go to lunch with nobody. You don't have a conversation with nobody. You don't collaborate. You don't do a joint venture. Then why did you go to the event in the first place? Why'd you show up? So why show up if you ain't going to follow up? So I just created this consistent cycle of doing stuff over and over and over again, repetitively, consistently. Show up, do the newsletters, send out the newsletters consistently, let people know what you're doing, get out and speak consistently. Yeah, even if that means you're not getting a check. No, you might not be getting paid in a check form, but you're getting paid in other ways. You're getting paid in terms of your credibility. You're getting paid in terms of experience and exposure that has allowed me to get here. So don't diminish any opportunity to show up and to be amazing at what you do, no matter how many people are there.
That is just powerful. And I mean, the ladies, this is resonating with the ladies. The chat is going while you're talking. It is really resonating with them. So I'm hoping that this is blessing somebody. If you just jumped on, it looks like several people just jumped on. Make sure you share this out on your Facebook so that somebody else can be blessed by Cheryl Wood. So, Ms. Cheryl, let me ask you this. If you could leave us with a quote or a scripture or a song, something that keeps you motivated, like right now you got to go do your prep and get uniforms ready so you can head out of the country again. What is that one song, quote, scripture, something that keeps you motivated where you're like, you know what, I'm tired, but I can do this. And it just motivates you to keep it moving.
Yeah, there's a quote by Tony Robbins that I always recall to mind. And the quote says, a real decision is measured by the fact that you've taken a new action. And if there's no new action, you have not truly decided. So for me, I just say, Cheryl, have you really decided to be great? Have you decided? And if you decided, you will keep taking the action that will put you in that category of greatness. Like you can talk, anybody can talk about it. Anybody can post about it on Facebook, post about what they want. But if you really want the greatness, if you want, and I don't mean greatness in an egotistical way that, oh, look at me, I want to be, no, greatness as in, I know that when I leave this place, when I leave this earth, that my gifts aren't going with me because I've already poured them out into other people. I know that my talents and my skills aren't going with me to the grave. I know that my life experiences and my stories aren't going with me to the grave because I've poured them out into so many other people that people will be repeating that story long after I'm gone. So for me, even when I'm tired, even when I'm frustrated, even when I'm disappointed, even when I'm discouraged, and it still happens even on this level, Tanya, believe me, it still happens on this level. People do things that's hurtful, things fall through that you thought were going to come through and it don't come through. The client that you thought you were going to get, it changed their mind. You ain't get the money. It doesn't change. So there's still discouragement. There's still disappointment. There's still all these things. And then there's the balancing act of being a wife and being a mom. But again, I just say, Cheryl, a real decision is measured by the fact that you've taken a new action. What action have you taken to get to this life of greatness that you want? What action have you taken to create a different economic experience for your family? What action have you taken to impact the world and transform somebody else's life? What action have you taken today, even if you're tired? What action have you taken? How have you sacrificed? What have you given up? Some of us got to give up a little bit of sleep. It's okay. It's okay. You got to stay up a little bit longer, or you got to get up a little bit earlier. Some of us got to give up some of the vices that we like, some of the entertainment stuff. And we got to turn the TV off and say, now let me go write a couple chapters of my book. Like, what actions are you taking? Some of us got to get out of our comfort zone and stop going to conferences where everybody know our name. If everybody know your name, you ain't networking now. You just going to hanging out with some friends. So you need to be going places where nobody knows you. That's networking. That's networking. Some of you need to get out of your own city, state, and zip code. So there's so many things that you can do to take action to move you in the direction of where you say you want to be versus just talking about it. So that's the quote. A real decision, the decision to be great, the decision to transform lives, the decision to create legacy, the decision to create economic empowerment is based on actions.
Wow. Well, there you have it, ladies. She has blown our socks off with some knowledge. I hope if you just jumping on it, you go all the way back to the beginning. You do not want to miss a word of it. I have goosebumps. And I'm going to try to remember some stuff. So I'm going to go through it again and write some notes. This was fantastic. I am just honored, and I feel privileged that you said yes to allow me to interview you, for the moms that need this. Somebody may, like you said, someone may see this video a year from now and just say, oh my gosh, she's speaking to me at this moment in my life. So
and if I can real quickly.
Sure.
You may never know who sees the video. You may know a year from now too, you may never know who it touched. The whole series, not just this video, but the whole series. You may never know because that's just how life works. It's you pour out your gift, not because people are going to come back and tell you that it was amazing, or sometimes you may never know who it touched. I was at the, this was what, 3 weeks ago? I took my son, I don't know if you saw this on Facebook, I took my son to the eye doctors he needed glasses. I didn't even know the boy couldn't see.
Yes, I saw that.
So I go take him into the eye doctor. The doctor comes out, young lady, she takes us in the back. She's very professional, does the exam, tells us he needs glasses. And then she comes out and says, all right, you can pick what glasses he wants. And as soon as we come out of the room, she starts going into this. She's like, oh my God, Cheryl Wood. Oh, and she's going on. I follow you on social media. I love your work. I heard you speak at a conference a year ago. That's what she said. She said, I heard you speak at a conference a year ago. She said, it was what I heard you say that made me open up my own pediatric practice.
What?
I had no clue. She said, I only work here 2 days a week just to kind of supplement my practice, my own practice. She said, now that I'm seeing you, I don't even think I want to be here these 2 days a week. I said, girl, don't give up your job now. Don't give up. Don't give up that income that you got going.
Right.
But wow. I would have never known that. I just randomly happened to bump into her, and she was the eye doctor for my son. So sometimes you know later, way later after the fact, sometimes you never know. Sometimes people never come back and tell you. But as long as you know every day that you served in a way that you poured out the best of you into somebody, if you can go through every day and say, you know what, somebody got the best parts of me today, that's when you know you are really in your divine assignment, because you're not looking for approval, or you're not looking for validation. You're just looking to be everything that God has assigned you to be.
Wow. Well, ladies, make sure if you love what you heard from Cheryl today, make sure you visit her website, Cheryl, and CherylWoods.com.
CherylEmpowers.com.
CherylEmpowers.com. And then here's her conference. Playtime is over. That is November 2nd through the 4th here in the DC area. PTIOconference.com. Make sure you get your ticket. I know last year it sold out. Yes. And she does have a hotel room block as well. So make sure you get in. There's a VIP and there's a general. So make sure if you want to hear what Cheryl shares in person, please make sure you check her out, visit her, follow her on social media. And Cheryl, I just thank you again for saying yes. I'm honored. And I know this will not be the last time. Yes. And
thank you. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for having me as part of your platform.
Thank you. Talk to you later.
All right.
Bye-bye.